Well, welcome to STEMversations. This is our conversation with local education technology friends that we have in the area. This conversation's brought to you by Prairie STEM. I'm Robbie Jensen.
And I'm Jeff Ingraham. And our guest is?
My name's Matt Lee. I'm the coordinator of technology integration for Westside Community Schools.
Yeah, so Matt, if you could just kind of start us off with a little background of who you are, kind of your background, what got you into educational technology, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Sure, yeah. I've always really been into technology since probably about fifth grade in elementary school. And what really sparked me was learning to program with Logo Writer and having the little turtle that you could program and move around the screen. And then I had a fifth grade teacher, Mr. Denny Hanley, which a lot of people in the education community know, that introduced me to Logo and got me into my first programming contest. And I think it was OPPD or NPPD sponsored a programming thing. And so we went there and did that and did pretty good. And that just kind of lit a spark that continued on through middle school and high school. And then in college, I was a education major and did secondary education for social studies. So that's where I got started teaching. So I taught at Westside High School for about 6 or 7 years in the social studies department. And then the opportunity came to move into the technology realm. And, you know, that kind of spark that I had of doing some programming and some technology stuff really just came back, and I was able to jump into the tech realm and have been kind of just running in there since.
Definitely. Great.
I remember you did some fantastic stuff with FileMaker databases and when you were teaching social studies.
Yeah, that was kind of
did some classes for us.
Yeah, that was a transition time a little bit. So I was doing teaching social studies, but then I was involved in helping assess our school accreditation process. And that kind of dovetailed into when I was working on my master's degree. And it started off with doing some programming with Macromedia Flash at the time. And then that led into a PHP, MySQL kind of programming environment where I created an online rubric grading system. And so then that was kind of adopted by the school district or by the school building as a way to assess writing across the curriculum. And so then that introduced me into the world again, reintroduced me rather into the world of programming and, you know, kind of that more technical side of technology integration. So yeah, it was right around that time then, right after that, that I moved into under the technology team to
the
do
dark
more
side of technology.
It moved to the tech integration side of
That's what I said.
Being pulled out of the classroom.
I said the dark side, didn't
I? So what are things recently that have been really exciting for you when it comes to ed tech? I know Westside's always been kind of that leader in doing things their way in a different way, but what are some of the things that have been exciting you lately?
You know, I think going back to our right around pre-COVID times, but really getting that push to integrate the iPad into the curriculum, that was something that's been really exciting just because, you know, Westside's been extremely fortunate and we've had a one-to-one with laptops for a long time, but it was the introduction of a new tool that really to fully embrace it in the multimodal aspects of that tablet device, you know, being able to use your hands, your fingers, a stylus, a keyboard, a mouse, you know, integrated cameras, all of that, to really have that push to really rethink what are you doing, why are you doing it, and can it be done better in a different way to improve learning outcomes for kids. And so that kind of re-inspired or kind of sparked a new passion of really getting out there and pushing creativity and pushing the arts and really helping teachers take advantage of this new paradigm of computing. And so I think over the past couple of years, that's been probably one of the biggest things that has excited me and really pushing the boundaries of using that new platform for teaching and learning. I would say most recently, it's been the advent of AI and trying to help people navigate the field of, you know, what does AI look like in education? How do you approach that? How can we use it for good? How do we teach students what it can and can't do? And so I know it's still kind of on the forefront, and it's really just been in the last, 9 to 12 months that it's really jumped into the mainstream from something that was, relegated to a computer science department to something that now is every English teacher is having to deal with, or every social studies teacher is having to deal with. And so it's been a process, and it's been something where the more people that we engage as a district to come in and talk with us about it, and the more that we have discussions internally, kind of the richer the conversation gets. And it's really interesting to think about what are the applications, how do we teach kids to use these tools, what different tools are out there. And it really just kind of opened up a whole new world of possibilities for people to explore.
For sure. Yeah. I'm so excited you talked about having that like open committee, like almost like a committee or group that's talking about this. I was at Administrator Days a couple weeks ago, and the administrators who were in the AI discussions were scared and nervous just because they don't know what they don't know at this point.
Right.
And so to have people who have the questions and people who want to find those answers together in the same conversations is huge.
Yeah. And we've been really fortunate as a district to be able to engage with a lot of our higher ed counterparts. And so being able to talk to, computer science professors at UNO or, business marketing, business management type people, as well as their instructional technology staff, it's been really interesting to be able to compare the fears, concerns, and thoughts that we have as K-12 educators with kind of the same thing that's going on in higher ed, but to hear their viewpoint of, okay, if our goal in K-12 is to prepare kids for what they do after high school, college is very specifically around how do we prepare students for the workforce? Because they're going to go from, getting their bachelor's or master's directly into the workforce. And to hear them talk about how, especially in the computer science realm, where if you don't know how to engage with AI, you're not going to be prepared for what's out there in the workforce. And then to hear them, talk with other departments about, if students just think AI is a website where you go to and type in a prompt and then you get a fully fledged response back, then we're doing a disservice, because they're going to need to engage in these tools in a productive way and know how iteration works, how they need to actually spend more time engaging with prompts to get a quality response than they might have using other tools.
Right. Nice.
Awesome.
Are there any specific like tools, apps, anything that you've used in classrooms? And since you're district level, you deal with kindergarten through high school. Is there anything really exciting or cool that you've seen lately that you can share?
Yeah, it's an interesting question talking specifically about tools, because I think over time we see kind of tools come and go in waves, where there's a big surge in one tool and then it kind of dies down, then another surge. But the good ones always seem to stick around throughout those kind of ebbs and flows with it. And I think right now, the one that pops into my mind are like different mind mapping or infinite whiteboard type tools.
Okay.
And the one that I've really, we used to do a lot with Explain Everything. And that was one that's been really powerful. Students and teachers can make flipped lessons, show their learning. And as we've introduced that more, we found it's kind of complicated for some of the younger students, or, the older students sometimes get caught up a little bit in kind of the video editing aspect of it, and just a little bit harder. What we found that's been really resonating with folks is Apple's Freeform. And I know that's limited to iPad and Mac, but it has the idea of an infinite canvas that you can embed media into. It works with the pencil, so they can draw, they can, make mind maps and connections together. And although it doesn't have a built-in recording and editing tool, they can just do screen capture to create flipped lessons with it. And then the collaboration piece is free and included. And so we've had a lot of success with having students team up, or having a class-wide freeform board where it's just a virtual collaborative space that they can throw documents into, they can put research into, they can do sorting activities, and just lots of different things together. So that's kind of the one that jumps to my mind first as a trending topic, if you will, of applications.
Nice.
Yeah, Freeform was such a powerful tool. We've even had kids at summer camps this summer who, when we give them some time to work on different, can I do that in Freeform? Yeah. Jump right in, because it's like ease of entry on that app is fantastic. But then the level that you can take it to. I was with a kindergarten teacher towards the end of last school year, and she runs her entire day on Freeform now and has all her pictures of sight words built into there, and she just has one big mind map that runs her day, and it's such a cool tool.
That's awesome. Yeah, and even as a presentation tool, kind of like a non-linear presentation piece where you can pop in and out of different resources to demonstrate and be able to spatially arrange things. And we had a really cool use at the end of last year where we had a teacher doing a science extension project where he had students go out into the environment around his building, photograph different plants, animals, that kind of stuff. They threw it all on a whole class freeform board. And then they had different activities where groups got together and they sorted out by species, by kind of category that it went to. And then they took those categories and had them start doing research and summarizing what are common traits, common features with all of these different insects and animals and plants and those sorts of things. And was just really cool. It was the spatialness of it that I was attracted to, because we've always been able to do that, with a collaborative doc or put this in here, but the ability to collaborate at home, kids don't have to be in physical proximity to each other like they would if you had to do it on a poster board. The multimedia aspect where they were able to go out, and if it was a bad picture, they could find a better picture on the internet and put them together and say, here's the picture I took. Here's a good picture of it so you can kind of see it. And then one of the things that we kind of pushed with it was using some of the built-in machine learning and object identification, where if they were having a hard time identifying a specific animal or plant, a lot of the times Siri could look at it and say, oh, this is an oak tree of this specific species, or this is this kind of insect. And, it wasn't right all the time, but it was a good teachable moment to say, hey, this tool is giving you, a hint. How can you verify what it says is accurate? How can you go out and do some research? And just helped unstuck a lot of kids as they were trying to identify those things.
Very cool. Very awesome.
Anything exciting happening in Westside? Any new technologies or initiatives or anything?
Awesome
that you can share?
That I can share, yeah. No, I think a lot of the stuff is really, I think we're on year 3 of our first initial implementation of the iPads. And so I think this will be a nice year for us now that people have kind of adjusted a little bit more to having this new tool available to them. They've had a chance to create some lessons. They've had a chance to explore a little bit. I think it'll be a really powerful year where we'll start to see some payoff from the work that people have put in. Cool. I would say emerging tech wise, I think VR and AR are making a bigger push into things. We do have some VR headsets that we've deployed at our middle school, high school, and then we have a set for elementary buildings that they can check out. And so we had this summer, we ran some training sessions where folks got to go in and learn the system. They were excited about that. So I think that's an area that will grow in popularity. And, I would say that combined with maybe some of the drones and the programming still is popular.
Nice.
Fantastic. Well, Matt, we appreciate you coming out today and joining us for our STEMversation today. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you. Happy to be here.